Welcome, everybody, to another episode of US Law Live, the official podcast of the US Law Network. My name is Nick Roush. I'm a lawyer at the Larson King firm, coming to you from bright, sunny, and looks like it's a little rainy St. Paul, Minnesota. I am joined here by my fantastic co-host who needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway, Mike Judy. Mike, how are you?
Nick, I am lovely. I think the rain that you all are having right now is heading our way later today. It's supposed to get pretty ugly around here, but it is sunny for now. And because I'm an eternal optimist, I will focus on that sunshine, baby.
We love that. We love that. And so our guest today is from the lovely Carr Allison firm, and we all, of course, love on this podcast Pam Halford, who is one of our co-hosts and has been throughout the year or two that we've been doing this podcast. But we are joined by Nikki Harlan. Nikki, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Nick?
Not too bad. And you are down in Mississippi, correct?
Yes, our office is in Gulfport, Mississippi.
All
And
right.
speaking of
How
weather, it's quite beautiful if you can't see the sunshine.
I can see it coming in through the shades. It's giving you
Right?
the right color in the background.
It is already 90 degrees outside, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Were you disappointed when you found out that the video wasn't going to be released because you sitting perfectly in the sun,
oh,
so it
I,
looks
I
like
look
a
like I'm
halo?
glowing like an angel right now with the sun coming right in perfectly. So I was disappointed.
We do all this glam and get all the cameras out only to not be on video.
Right.
Maybe someday our podcast will transition to
I did
video.
my
Who
hair
knows?
just for this, Nick. So
So did Mike.
I'm
So
not.
that's good.
I
He did
mean,
that together.
yes. I'm glad somebody noticed.
Now, Nikki, you're joining us from the Mississippi office of Carr Allison. Tell us a little bit, just for folks who don't know you, who are listening to the podcast, tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do now for Carr Allison.
My name's Nikki Harlan. Well, now I'm Nikki Holder. I just changed my name. I got married in January.
Congrats.
So
That's great.
Holder is my new
Congratulations.
last name.
Holder. Got it.
I'm getting used to it. I literally just got a new email address Friday. So that's been a change for me. But I started at Carr Allison about 9 years ago. I actually just celebrated my 9 year anniversary last week, I believe.
Great.
So I've been here since I graduated law school. When I first came here, I mainly did workers' compensation. I knew nothing about that, and I kind of was thrown into it. Then slowly transitioned into doing trucking work, premises liability work. Our office in Mississippi is the only Mississippi office of Carr Allison. It's a little bit smaller, and so we kind of everybody handles a little bit of everything in our office.
Got it. So it sounds like it was the intro was the work comp work, and then that kind of developed into doing more, sounds like a diversified practice of
Yes.
trucking and premises type stuff,
Yes,
right?
I still do comp, trucking, and premises. And then I have some like random ones. I have like a washing machine case right now. So there's some random ones thrown in there.
I mean, the work comp, I don't do any of it. Our firm doesn't do any of it, but it is a different animal. At least in Missouri and Kansas, it is that it
Yeah.
is very specialized. The folks in the work comp court, it's their little club. And if you're not part of that club, you're not getting in.
It's the same thing in Mississippi a little bit. We have our own like commission is what we call it, Mississippi Workers' Compensation Commission. Um, but it has its own laws, its own rules. It's very relaxed, but we do have bad faith in Mississippi, so it's something that you always have to be cognizant of.
Got it. Well, tell us a little bit about your, and I'm always interested to hear the responses to this question because we get a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life that join us in the podcast. Tell us kind of about your journey to becoming a lawyer, kind of what interests you to get into practice and what brought you to where you are today.
Well, I didn't grow up around any lawyers. I don't have any lawyers in my family. I graduated, I'm from a very small town, Lucedale, Mississippi. Graduated, went to a JUCO first. I wanted to be an eye doctor, like an eye surgeon, and wanted to go to medical school, all the things. Took my first chemistry class and was like, I hate this. I hate blood. This is not, I don't know why. You just think it's like one of those things like you have to do, you have to be a doctor. So that's what I thought. Immediately changed my major to English. Loved every second of it. I don't regret that at all. I went to Mississippi State, majored in English, and and then I call it my quarter life crisis because I had no idea what I wanted to do with that degree. So I took a year off after Mississippi State, went back to my hometown, worked at a bank, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? And so immediately took the LSAT, applied to law school, went the next year, and it just kind of fell into my lap from there.
That's funny that I have a little bit of a similar background with the medical side of it. My first year of college, I was like, I'm going to go to med school. That's my dream. It's what I want to do. And after my first year of taking the biology stuff, I loved the anatomy, loved all of it. The blood didn't bother me, but it was the chemistry, the organic chemistry.
Chemistry is so
Oh,
hard.
and I went to my advisor and I'm like, I think I'll be okay, but I just despise it. He said, if you don't like chemistry and you don't think you can do it, he's like, you might as well get out now. And he scared the you know what out of me. So I just stopped and then kind of same deal. Like, what am I going to do with the psychology degree? So I'm
Right.
like, well, let's just take the LSAT and be a lawyer.
That literally the same. I was like, because I knew I didn't want to be a teacher. I would be horrible at being a teacher. I just like I thought about being a professor, and then law school just seemed like the best option. I come from a family of people that love to argue. So it kind of made sense, honestly. My husband still says, "Are you lawyering me right now?" That's what he always says. And I'm like, "No,
Uh,
sorry." Just want to make sure you're being
uh,
clear.
yeah.
I love that. Well, Nikki, what do you do outside of practice? What does Nikki do outside the practice of law?
I just got a new puppy. So
Oh,
that's occupying all of our time. He's peeing on the rug. We're still trying to potty train. That's the situation right now. So his name's Alfie. He's a Cavapoo. So we're all of our time's like occupied by him. We live in Ocean Springs, which is about 30 minutes from Gulfport. It's a really cute small town area. The downtown's really nice, has good restaurants. We love to go out to eat, a good cocktail. We go to the farmers market if we're in town almost every Saturday. Everywhere's dog friendly, which is great. So that's basically what we do. I go to Pilates, work out sometimes. That's about it. Go to the beach. A lot of times here on the coast, we have these barrier islands. And so
Mhm.
if you have a boat, you can go to one of the barrier islands and hang out. Like Horn Island, we're going there this weekend for Memorial Day, which is
Great.
exciting. It's about like 30 miles off of the coast, so it's not bad.
The boating
oh,
communities are I think, a different, breed kind of across the United States. Like in Minnesota, at least up here, we're the land of 10,000 lakes. So it seems like everybody's
Yeah,
got a boat on a lake, and then you're either going to that lake, like this upcoming weekend. Obviously, it's going to be packed with boats all over the place. But
yeah.
the people I've talked to kind of from the coast in different parts, right? It's kind of island hopping or something different, right?
Yeah, you just go out to the island and you sit in the water and eat and
Sounds
drink the
great.
whole time and just hang out. It's so nice. And honestly, I love the ride out there.
Yeah.
But we went to Smith Lake in Alabama a couple weeks ago, and I have never really experienced the lake life, and it was so nice though. They were beautiful. It was like the bluest lake I've ever seen. But I did notice we were talking about it. The boats there are more like wakeboarding boats, I guess is what you would
Oh,
describe
yeah.
as. And a lot on the coast are like center consoles. It's very different to me. I don't know. I don't know if they have a lot of those in the lakes up there.
The lakes that my wife and I go to up north, kind of by the Duluth area, it seems like you've got people that have just your generic pontoon boat, right? So like
Yeah.
you
Oh,
probably
yeah. Of
don't
course, a
go,
yep.
pontoon.
yep,
That's what I
pontoon,
want.
okay.
Yep, that's what
And
I
then
want.
there are people who maybe have like jet skis, right? That like kind of do
Yeah.
those. And then it seems like, at least on the lake that my wife and I go to a bunch, there's a few speed wake boats, but not like it's not everybody. Like everybody's got their different, I think, view of fun. And
Yeah.
I think life stages too, right? Like if you want to go haul your kids around and go really fast, or if your kids are into something, like it just kind of depends.
Right. The pontoon boat is the way to go. I'm telling you.
I
I
agree, Nikki. Yeah.
You can
I
just
just want
like
to
the
go.
kids can just run around. You can hang out. You can lay down, cruise. I
Yes, I
love a
don't have
pontoon
to go
boat.
more than 25 miles per hour and get thrown
Right.
all over the place. Yeah.
exactly.
I am old and I am cranky and I'm set in my
Right.
ways.
Because some of those, the next day, your back is killing you from the way you're hitting those waves.
Right, right.
Oh man. Well, Nikki, since we are part of the U.S. Law Network, we try to do something legal on the podcast every now and
Okay.
then. So I know you're an attorney in Mississippi. We have folks and clients that listen to podcasts that have got a number of different lines of work all across the nation. And so maybe you could just kind of touch on for us just different developing things in Mississippi, what that's like for folks that may be seeing litigation in your neck of the woods.
So Mississippi is a comparative fault state, which means that you can even just have 1% at fault. We have a cap on non-economics, which is nice. It's $1 million. But sometimes in situations like I've seen before, and a case that has high damages, even though you literally have only 1% at fault, you're still gonna get that $1 million in there on those. So you want to go ahead and try to settle those. Is what we try to lean towards. In Mississippi, we also, any and all minor settlements have to be approved by our chancery courts. And depending on the amount, they may make you put it into a court restricted account. It requires a bunch of paperwork. Sometimes we have issues finding one of the parents, the natural parents. So sometimes we have to deal with that. It makes it a little bit more complicated. Even like I had a minor settlement a while back that was only $1,500, and it took forever trying to locate the father. We had to serve him via publication because we had no idea where he was. We tried to hire a private investigator because they have to be served properly with the petition.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it just makes it a little bit more complicated. And then on trucking cases, it's really nice. We have a merger doctrine, is what I like to call it. So you see in complaints a lot of times individual claims against a company, it'll be, negligent hiring, negligent entrustment, all of those sorts of claims. If you admit course and scope of your driver, you can file a motion to dismiss or a motion for summary judgment on those claims, and they merge into everything that's against the driver.
Wow.
I mean, I want to come to Mississippi because that is
Must be nice.
bane of my existence on
Yeah.
these trucking cases. And I think there's a lot of listeners who would love to get rid of those, direct negligence for whether it's hiring, training, retention, et cetera. On that front, do then judges limit the amount of discovery that plaintiffs
We
can
have
get?
seen that. We've seen it both ways. We have filed motions to limit that discovery, and a lot of times we have objections in our discovery about the merger doctrine, saying this is irrelevant, like your training documents are irrelevant. But a lot of times the judges will it's a free for all. We'll let you just have it, or let them have it. And then, but I have seen it in North Mississippi once or twice where they have limited it. Kind of depends probably on when you file your motion.
Yeah.
Sometimes we file it early on as a motion for judgment on the pleadings, and then sometimes we file it after discovery.
Yeah, at Missouri's it's kind of a hybrid approach. You can no longer plead punitive damages in your initial petition, which was always the hook that allowed the direct negligence against the employer. But we're finding now that judges, even if they don't allow that pleading in the initial complaint, that they just give you wide open discovery. And it's almost like they're punishing it. Well, I know that they can't bring a direct negligence claim against a trucking company, but we will let you have every single piece of discovery you want about not just the driver, but the company and their policies and procedures. And it's just a nightmare.
It is. And it still can be that way here, but it is nice to get rid of those claims. Speaking of punitives, it's also really hard in a trucking case to get a punitive award. We file a motion for summary judgment on those almost every single time too.
I mean, if you can find a way to get some of those laws in Mississippi nationwide, I mean, you could be a billionaire. Let's see if we can monetize this, right?
I want to I want to go back to where you started, Nikki, because I work in a state, Minnesota, that has no caps whatsoever. There's probably no that bill has come to the floor many times and it's always been denied. I don't think there's an end in sight for us. I'm curious, knowing that there's a non-economic damages cap for Mississippi, just in practice, how that either helps or doesn't help, I guess, like defense counsel, someone like you, right? I mean, do you see that that's a tool you use more in negotiation? Is it something that, it's more like in the day-to-day damages discovery, or how do you factor that in and how do you weigh that in a given, like a trucking case, for example, if you may have high exposure, maybe high damages claims?
We usually use it in negotiations
Yeah.
because the first thing I go with is like your demand is above the max you can even get on this case.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even make sense. Why would we settle at that? Why would we respond reasonably after that? So that's the main tool that I use in negotiation is the cap. And we also say, it's pretty difficult to get that cap as well. It would have to be a very high damage case, and it also has to be in a bad venue, like Hines County in Mississippi, that's Jackson, Mississippi. That's a little different. I mean, you can almost assume it's going to be the cap there. So that also helps us value our cases as well. But yeah, it's a great tool to use. I obviously love the cap. It helps keeps our claims reasonable because I hear about other states and it's insane.
Yeah. Do you think then that plaintiffs lawyers, from what you're seeing in demands, then are they trying to sort of shoehorn more value in other claims, right? I mean, do you kind of see there's now a focus on other damages claims that maybe pre-cap maybe wouldn't have been an issue to begin with? I don't know.
Yeah, they'll work up their case as far as like future meds,
There you
but
go.
try to put more on that and
Okay.
not really focus on the non-economic.
So yeah, you're probably seeing most of your cases with just outrageous life care plans of,
Yes, the
I
life
need
care plans,
$18 million
crazy.
in future
Right.
care.
Yes. If they're smart, that's what they do every single time. They'll hire a life care plan, maybe even a vocational person, future medical cost projection, any of that kind of stuff. They'll do that.
Yeah. I've always been curious about it because I feel like I know there's a few states in the network that certainly talk about their own caps and how they kind of values it, but it seems like, yeah, it'll cap one item of damages, but then it seems like now there's a concerted effort towards another one to sort of make up for the lost, value that they're going to have, right?
Yeah. The cap's also weird a little bit because it's applied after damages are reported, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah.
like the jury could award like $4 million in non-economic and the judge reduces it to that million. So sometimes the lawyers will argue that, well, that's not until after. But every single time I respond, well, it's still going to get reduced to $1 million. So
Yeah. And I'd imagine then you don't have any rogue judges that aren't gonna follow it and just say, well, you don't like it, appeal it to try to get the law changed.
no, but there a lot of like plaintiffs bar is really trying to push to at least make that cap higher, if not just completely do away with the cap.
I want to
Yeah.
practice in Mississippi, Nick.
It is interesting because I think across the country you're seeing a landscape of states that some have, I think, passed cap legislature to the brim. Then you have ones, maybe some like Missouri and Minnesota, that have not whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And it makes an interesting playing field, I think, especially for our clients in the network who do national work in multiple different states, right? It's a constant thing to track and to talk about. And it's even more interesting, I think, from the level of if you have plaintiffs lawyers that have states and claims of different states.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Also, I've noticed some of my adjusters sometimes like our settlement sometimes seems not as big of a deal because of the situations in other states like Texas or
Yeah.
Florida, all of those. I think sometimes that is helpful in trying to get some value on your claim, to try to resolve it. But it also too, it helps us, go to trial because this is the max exposure.
Right.
Right. I think,
And
yeah, prepping for trial, I think giving clients certainty and talking about that aspect is helpful, especially if you have a case
Right.
where maybe the non-economic damages could be really high, right?
Right.
I don't know. I feel like in at least counseling clients through trial, it's like, what are the things we're not going to be able to predict and the things that maybe we could predict, right? And I think it helps have a constant variable on, at least on that.
I mean, and I know this isn't jurisdiction specific, but something I think with these numbers that are just astronomical, I mean, isn't the pendulum going to have to swing back the other way eventually? Or do you think we're just going to keep going up, 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 up?
I don't know. I think to me, the juries, they need to realize that it's also affecting them, that these
Yeah.
awards are. And I don't think that they're recognizing that. They just see the insurance defense as like the carrier's going to pay it. So it's not that big of a deal. Well, that makes all of your stuff go up as well. They just don't realize that if their premiums are going up, then they have to charge more on all this other stuff.
We had a good discussion on this at the U.S. Law Product Liability Forum last week in Nashville. There was a session where we sort of talked about not just inflated settlement demands, but then we also had one talking about mock jury studies and how jurors are talking about money. It seems too, kind of to Mike's point, everyone that had talked about doing a mock jury study, myself included and some other people, it seems almost like with the numbers that go up, jurors are more akin to not blinking at big numbers anymore, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
They're
know.
more akin to like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? And
Yeah.
I think the more and more through either the process or trial, billboards, news, whatever it is, being presented with $100 million nowadays is like, okay, like that's not
Right.
like that big of a deal. And so, it was interesting talking with our folks from Verdict Insight Partners and some other people about how we're trying to combat that, whether that's through trial or through jury studies or what have you. But it is an interesting landscape. I mean, the only thing we ended up talking about at the tail end of that presentation was we do definitely need more case law. The problem there is to get to that point in the case law, you've probably lost a big case at trial, right?
Right.
But the Texas, the Werner case, there's a case up here in Minnesota that we're trending in the right direction where judges are starting to say, no, you can't just have runaway juries like this. It has to be grounded in
Right.
fact, it has to be grounded in reason, right? And I don't know if in states where there's no caps, if maybe that's the route to go. I don't know. It's an interesting
Yeah.
issue.
Another thing in Mississippi that I thought about while y'all were talking about, in a non-economic cap of 1 million, working up the meds, we're also a collateral source state. So
Mm.
that's something that's not great for us. They can board all their medicals no matter what they pay, no matter what the lien is. We don't, there, a lot of times we're not even allowed to address that at all. And
Oh, so you,
I've talked to Eric Tolney at Copeland Cook
Yeah.
with US Law. I've talked with him about, because I went to one US Law conference and they were talking about getting a medical bills expert to review the medical bills and say, hey, this is unreasonable. It doesn't get let in if we hire those people. So that's kind of an issue with us as well.
yeah, and that just, I mean, it's a breeding ground for then plaintiffs treating on liens, and it's now a back surgery that you can get, $50,000 at a local hospital is, well, now this is a $300,000 surgery. So I'm sure you see a lot of that as well.
Right. And you already know, like, certain hospitals are going to charge way more. Even like an MRI, I've seen $15,000 for an MRI before.
Oh,
And I know. And this lady had 2 MRIs. Well, her emergency room case only turned into like 40,000 in past meds. So it made her case way worth more than
right.
it would have if we could have combated those bills a little bit.
Well, Nikki, you gave us a pretty good insight into U.S. law, or not U.S. law, but Mississippi law. And now is when we kind of shift the gears and turn the spotlight back on you with some questions that you may not be prepared for, but will give some of our listeners a little bit more of an insight to you. But I guess you mentioned earlier getting married in January, so congratulations.
Thank
Where
you.
where was the honeymoon?
We went to Yosan Dyke. Do you know where that is? It's in the British
No.
Virgin Islands. It's where the famous soggy dollar bar is. And they
Okay.
make the famous painkiller.
Okay.
Yes. So, okay, we went to Vegas for his birthday and we saw Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. And Kenny Chesney, that's like his favorite
Nice.
bar, favorite island. And so my husband was like, we're going there for the honeymoon. That was his job, was to plan the honeymoon. I was like, I can handle the wedding. You have to do the honeymoon. I can't do both. And he loved it. So we spent 5 days at Yost Van Dyke and then we went back to St. Thomas for the last like 2, 3 nights. It was
And
beautiful.
have you come down from the high of the honeymoon yet?
No, I want to go back. I want to live there. What are you talking about? I want to work at the Soggy Dollar Bar. I'll just make painkillers all day.
So I've seen the TikToks on it.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen it. So for those that don't know, what is a painkiller?
Okay, so it's rum,
Okay.
and they also have I have to say it right, Nilla Killa, and that's a vanilla rum. So that's the only difference
Okay.
in that. And then it has pineapple juice, coconut milk, orange juice, and I think the famous thing is the nutmeg on top that they freshly shave on top
Oh.
of it. It's so good. It's scary good. If you have like three by 11 a.m., you're not making it to dinner.
You're feeling no
I
pain.
think,
You're
Right?
feeling
I
No
no
think
pain
pain
at
you
at that time.
all.
volunteered running the bar at the next US Law event,
Yes,
making
I could.
painkillers for
So
everybody.
afterwards, when we got back, Bradley, that's my husband's name. He has now perfected those drinks, and that was his one goal. We had to order nutmeg from Amazon, had to be certain kind. It was a whole thing.
Oh, that's funny. So you got any other big vacations coming up, or was the whole shebang just saved for the honeymoon?
Mainly the honeymoon, but we're going to Rosemary. Do you know where that is in Florida?
Hmm.
It's kind of like near Destin, Panama City area. It's that 30A that everybody talks about. We're going there
Oh,
in
fun.
June. Yeah, it's nice. I'm excited. I already have dinner reservations.
Yeah. And are you a couple that likes to travel together? Or are you more homebodies?
We like to travel together. He travels a lot for his job, so he's like he calls himself a professional traveler at this point. He likes to brag about it. Um, I now have TSA pre-check because of him, because otherwise we were going in separate lines at the airport.
Ooh,
And I was like,
ooh.
this is not right. This is not sitting
Yeah.
well with me. So I have to go get pre-check.
Yeah, the
It,
pre-check is a lifesaver.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it is, if you ever fly through MSP, it is incredible how much of a difference it makes. And so it could be like a random Tuesday, and I swear, and this is just me being someone that probably hits the airport at least once a week. The same boarding line to MSP, it seems like, is literally 50 yards long. Like not even like it is a long ways. And the either clear or TSA pre-check is like an express lane and it just gets you
Oh
through.
yeah.
And so for the longest time, my wife was hesitant to spend the X amount of money on getting TSA pre-check. And it was the same way, Nikki. So I would get through security and then I would have to wait like a half an hour to 40 minutes. So finally we were just like, look, we're just gonna need to bite the bullet. We need to just get it for all of us across the board. And now I'm super happy we did it because now we have kids, right? So I've
Oh
got
yeah.
a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month old trying to get through MSP airport with all
Oh,
of us together with the 19 bags we have.
Right.
There's no way we would survive that long TSA line. There's just no way. It would be chaos.
yeah.
Be pure
Do y'all
chaos.
like to travel a lot too?
Yeah.
We, with kids, have slowed down quite a bit. So we did a lot of
Right.
traveling before we kind of started to have kids. So we went to Italy and then we went to Tokyo and we did like all
Oh
the
my
kind of
gosh.
international travel, kind of got that out of our system.
Yeah.
Now it's we counted the last time we did a trip, and I'm not kidding. We had, I think, 12 bags going through
Oh man.
TSA. So
It's too
and
much.
that's with, mind you, okay, little Nick Roush with his car seat for his 2.5-year-old, and then we gotta have all the breastfeeding bags and everything that way, which I'm cool with, and then
Right.
the bags for both of us, and then we have like a snack bag, carry bag. Like by the time you get everything, you look like a Sherpa going up Everest. Like
And
I'm
it's
like
so much more
slugging all this
stressful.
along. So it's good.
Uh,
It's good.
and as they get older, they are no easier to travel with. They just get, I mean, it
Do they get
is
whinier?
that they're just so oblivious. I mean, and it's no matter how many times you tell them things. We just went, the whole family went on a spring break trip, and my oldest, who's a sophomore in high school, and we've been telling him, like, you need to get your stuff ready for the carry-on. You know, you have to have the travel size, this, that, and the other. And he's very big into his hair and how his hair looks, and had $80 worth of just giant hair product bottles in his carry-on bag that they threw away. And I'm like, dummy, we talked about this. I didn't know how much 3 ounces was. I'm like, well, you can look on the bottle, pal.
Yeah, now we have to figure that out.
Right.
That's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Where'd y'all
Well,
go, Mike?
We
We went to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, I saw some article. I don't know if y'all are big Disney World people with your kids, but it was like you could travel to Japan, stay the week,
That is
and it
true.
would be cheaper than going to Disney World. It's
I
insane.
can I can
Oh,
confirm as someone who has been to Tokyo and back, Tokyo Disney and back, and recently been to Orlando Disney and back, that it is in fact cheaper
It's
to
crazy.
go the route. And it is shocking how when you do and I fully recommend people go to Japan. It's a fun trip. But like when you're there in the Japan park and you're like, how is this cheap? And then you're at
Right.
the Orlando park and you're like, why is this so expensive? It's
Right.
yeah.
And you're just
crazy.
standing in line the whole
Oh,
It's
time.
it's all for love. I love my
Yeah.
kids, lifelong memories,
Right.
but like you get the bills, you look at your credit card statement at the end of the month, you're like, whoa.
Right.
yeah. It's painful. Uh, Well, Nikki, you've been very gracious with your time today. We appreciate, the opportunity to talk with you and for you to hop on and tell us a little about your practice and Mississippi, and just look forward to seeing you at all the upcoming U.S. law events. And anyone listening, reach out, say hello to Nikki. As you probably gathered from this podcast, she's never met a stranger, is really easy to talk to, and has that beautiful Southern twang that we all love. So, Nikki, you've been great.
Thank you. This was fun. I wasn't sure what to think about it because like I told y'all before we started, I don't like to hear the sound of my voice, that country twang. But this is fun.
It's
And
been great.
I'll be at the US Law one in Boston for anybody listening. So please
Great,
say hey.
great.
Yeah, say hey and get a free painkiller. The drink,
Yes.
nothing
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Thank you for listening to U.S. Law Live. Stay tuned for more great conversations on U.S. Law Live. To learn more about U.S. Law Network, visit uslaw.org. Thank you.